So when did the opportunity with Beautiful Destination happen?
Oh, shoot.
And what is Beautiful Destinations?
Yeah, so Beautiful Destinations is a media company. Started off in London, now they're based out here in New York. And they're pretty much a travel media company focused on working with like tourism boards and luxury brands. And they launched a campaign called The World's Coolest Job. And to me, that was like, their lifestyle is pretty cool. They travel around the world. They shoot content for like they've worked with like the Filipino Tourism Board, Abu Dhabi Tourism Board, and like plenty more. And I was attracted to that lifestyle because I always had the aspirations to travel. But before I started working with them, I've traveled out the country a handful. But knowing that I could do that for work, that was the
dream,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and they called it the world's coolest job, and I was like, oh shoot, this is
we're gonna call it that.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I think it was like in late September, they launched a campaign. I was in Hawaii at the time. I was shooting a wedding, and I just I filled out my application and did everything I needed to do. A couple months go by. I'm in Hong Kong. And I get an email from the creative director at the time. And he says, hey, would love to interview you. You've been selected like one out of 150. So this is 150 people out of 50,000 applications.
Wow.
And I was pretty like taken back by it. I was like, holy crap. Like, is this really happening?
Wow.
I didn't really think much of it. Like a couple of days passed by. Now I'm in the Philippines. And then we hop on a phone call. And from that phone call, what pretty much happened was you're hired. So I was one out of two that got hired full time out of the 50,000. And I needed to move to New York in a week.
Wow.
So me and Jalen were like, okay.
Are we doing this?
Are we going to do this? Jalen said yes before I even asked her.
I love it.
She's been dying to get out of like the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And because she was so like, because I knew I could bring her with me, that was like my only negotiation. Like originally they wanted me to live in a creator house, which makes sense. They want all the creators together. But I was like, me and my girlfriend are kind of on a vibe right now.
Yeah.
We want to be together. And they're like, okay, we'll make that happen. So I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. So Jalen and I host a garage sale. And they all come for her because she's selling like a whole bunch of like makeup stuff. But there's a line outside of our door. There's like I want to say like 300 people at 8 o'clock in the morning because Jalen put on her Instagram stories that we're moving. And I was like, holy crap.
Did it turn into more of like a meet and greet?
It was kind of like a meet and greet / garage sale. But like they're all like sort of, I guess, supporting us with our journey.
That's cool.
To New York. And that YouTube video is actually it's funny because people are, like I had this huge red beanbag and I have like separation anxiety. So I really didn't want to sell it.
Yeah. But
like one of my friends sold it and like that's in the video. But like, I can always look back on the vlog and be like,
right. That's what's so special about vlogs.
Yeah.
Is their memories, you know? Man, so garage sale, move to New York. You only have a week to do this.
Yeah.
So did they help you with housing and stuff? Because it's very hard to come to New York and just find an apartment. Yeah. That's a process.
Yeah. So in my contract, there was a portion of my rent that was covered. Good. Along with like being paid salary and all the travel, and everything is already included. Cool. So I made the plunge.
Yeah, world coolest job. So you get to travel the world, document for them, but then I'm sure at the same time, you got cool pictures to post to your feeds. You're building up your social. And it's funny because I think this happened at the same exact time that I got my world's coolest job of the Adobe Creative Residency. Oh, shit. So when I learned about that, I was like, oh my gosh, there actually are so many cool opportunities for creatives out there where maybe they're in this weird place of life where they're working a 9 to 5 and they want to take that plunge into a more creative journey. Yeah. There's grants out there. There are residencies. So the thing that I had was something called the Adobe Creative Residency. And it's basically Adobe, who makes Premiere, Lightroom, Photoshop, paid me a salary for 1 year to just go and create. and you had opportunities to, talk. I gave a talk at South by Southwest, which was so cool.
Nice.
So there's residencies out there. There's production companies who are like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think if you just put yourself out there and you have the work to prove that, you've been grinding, you've been doing your thing. And so you have that portfolio to show them. I think people are so much closer to what they think their dream job is. And it just takes that extra step. So it's so cool that happened.
Are you still part of the program?
No. So it ended, so it was basically a year.
Okay.
So it started beginning of 2016. And or the first half of 2016 and went a year, and it really helped me kind of like launch what is my YouTube channel now.
Your foundation.
It was a really good foundation because I was able to just create without worrying about brands, without worrying about how much money I was making, and that really helped me lay that foundation to where after I was in the right mindset, I was like, okay, let's make this a job now. Let's monetize this, because that's such a scary thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you do something creative.
Yeah.
How do you make money from that? You traditionally have parents that are like, creative types don't, make
artists don't make money.
Exactly. But nowadays, I feel like that's so the opposite. Like, and everyone needs designers. Everyone needs, maybe photography, I think, is the hardest thing to succeed in because everyone does have a decent camera.
True.
And
nowadays, right?
Nowadays, I think it's much harder because that playing field has leveled. But that also means you have more opportunity to really stand out if you do something different. But video's everything. Yeah. Everyone wants video. So if you can do video, you can make a living. I guess this is my spiel, just saying, if you're creative, don't be scared to go for it, because you can make a living off of it.
Absolutely. Maybe
you're not going to make that lawyer or hedge fund money or I don't know, but you're going to be happy.
Yeah, if you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, if you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
If you think YouTube is just the cool thing, so you want to be a successful vlogger just because it's cool, you don't enjoy it, you'll be in trouble. Right?
You gotta love to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of like what people don't know about is like the editing hours, right?
Yeah.
The stuff when the camera's not on. Right?
You're out shooting all day. Oh crap.
Yeah.
Where are those 6 hours that you're gonna edit? Probably cutting into your sleeping time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Let's talk about the Tim Cook tweet.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
So you've done work with Sony, but you've also been involved with iPhone stuff, and that was so cool to see on Twitter. So tell me, like, what happened?
Yeah. So I've been working with Apple for the past couple months, and before the tweet happened, I've already delivered a Today at Apple talk over in Soho at the Apple store there. And I was speaking to one of the PR managers, and she texted me saying, "Hey Andy, you have any iPhone 10 photos? One of our executives would like to see it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just went to Antelope Canyon in Arizona. I love this photo. I'll send it to you." A couple of minutes later, she texts me. She goes, "Did you see what just happened?" I was like, "Oh, what's that? What happened?" She's like, "Check your Twitter." And I was like, "Oh my God!" It's like Tim Cook just like acknowledged one of my photos. And I was...
How was that? Like, what? Tim Cook, CEO of Apple.
Yeah, so, like, for those who are, like, listening or watching, like, like, we're sitting, right? Like, that feeling when you can't feel your legs?
You're like, I have made it. I no longer have to exist. I have peaked.
Like, my relationship with Apple is, like, I have really long, a really deep relationship with Apple because of Steve Jobs. Like I read his biography by Isaac Walterson, and like I've been able to connect with Steve because of his personal journey with trying to meet his parents. So I felt like there was a personal connection with me there, and his products, and just like his overall philosophy of like everything he believed in. So when that happened, like I can admit, like I am like an Apple fanboy. I have a watch, iPhone, MacBook, like the whole nine, everything. Yeah. So like when that happened, it was like I didn't get paid. I didn't get any like money. Yeah, like I didn't get really much out of it, other than the fact that like someone who represents the brand at the moment, with Steve Jobs being away, like getting that recognition like meant everything, like more than any money I could ever ask for.
Kind of made it full circle.
Yeah, and it was a cool moment.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people like messaging me out of nowhere, and that was kind of cool too. Cause like, oh, dang, how you been?
You've made it.
No. But it was looking back at it now. I think one of my biggest takeaways from that experience was just knowing that was a moment, but it's still time to carry on. Like there's still so much more work to be done.